Good morning. My name is Angelo Joaquin Jr. I'm a member of the Desert People of Southern Arizona. I'm really happy to be here again. Every morning when I wake up and open my eyes, I go, wow, this is going to be a great day. This will be a great day. Welcome to the Food Sovereignty Symposium, brought to you by the Museum of Indian Arts and Culture in partnership with the National Museum of the American Indian. Today, we are celebrating the survival and thrival of culture. In other words, after you've ensured that your culture won't disappear, how do you make it flourish? Over this weekend, we will hear from people in the community who are making a difference. We will come to understand and appreciate why each tribe has a particular and site-specific way of life. And to further explain that, if you live near a river, you probably eat a lot of fish. If you live in the desert, as I do, you don't eat a lot of fish. There aren't any there. So we eat desert food. And as we go along, we'll be talking about traditional food. And I think it's wonderful that there is a concerted effort among tribes to reintroduce or revitalize not only the collection of native foods, but also the preparing and eating of these foods. Diabetes is a problem that's facing us as Indian people because of a change in diet. We, years ago, centuries ago, had a diet that was high in fiber and low in fat. Today, it's completely opposite. It's low in fiber and high in fat. So it's imperative that we bring these foods that we ate when we were healthy back into being. A number of years ago, I spoke with a young aunt, about 30 years old. At the time, I was the diabetes project director for Native Seed Search, and I was promoting desert foods. And he listened, he says, well, that's very interesting, but isn't that a step backward to go back to foods we used to eat? And I said, no, we took the step backward when we accepted food that we didn't eat or collect. And that included commodities from the US government, going to Circle K's and markets to eat food that really, again, weren't in our diet. The meats we were eating when we were healthier were lean meats, wildlife. Whereas today we've got beef and pork that in many cases have been given chemical stimulants to bring them to market, be able to bring them to market. So this morning we are going to talk about community-based traditional food projects. And we have representing the Seed Bank program at Suzuki, Gailey Morgan, the Pueblo Food Experience Food Box Program will be addressed by Porter Swentzel, and Buha Bread Revitalization will be presented by Marian Naranjo from Santa Clara. So if we can get started, this is again going to be a wonderful day, and looking forward to tomorrow. Come and join us. We will be sampling a lot of these foods that we're talking about today. And I tell you, the great treat for me is going to be being able to eat parts of a whole buffalo. We're putting it overnight in a pit. It'll be roasted and ready to eat tomorrow. So if you like buffalo wings, come down and eat the rest of the buffalo. You'll love it. Gailey?
Watamo. Good morning, everybody. Just like to thank the Museum of Indian Arts and Culture for the invitation. It's always good to be acknowledged, knowing that we're making a difference in not only in our community but in the surrounding communities. So with that, I would just like to thank them for inviting me here to present on behalf of the Suzuki Farms. I've been part of the farm program for about 17 years now. I know when I first started, we were doing mostly alfalfa. There was a couple of farmers that were, doing the traditional crops, the Three Sisters. But as a farm program, we weren't going that way. We're just, we're doing, fighting for our water rights. And so at that time, they were really wanting us to utilize our water. So with that, we did these alfalfa fields, and that's how it was one way to utilize our water. But then, in 2005, we went through a transition. We had hired this gentleman from Bolivia. His name is Ignacio Bailon, and he came with a different attitude about farming. And he would tell us, this isn't really, farming, and I agreed with that, because at that time we were at a crossroads. Myself, I was, because this was just only one way of farming, was doing like the ranching type, cutting the alfalfa, and this to me that wasn't farming. So when I sat in, when the tribal council had asked me to sit in the interview sessions with these people that were gonna apply for the position of farm manager, I kind of shot that out to them. Those were the questions I threw at them was, what do you want? Where do you want to see the Pueblo Suzuki? And this gentleman, he gave me the right answers, and that's I'm grateful that they had hired this gentleman there, and he's brought a lot of good things to our Pueblo. And one of the big things is seed preservation. So with him there now, we've come a long way. It took a lot of hard work, with minimal resources, with minimal tribal funding. Every year, our budget keeps going down and down. So it was good that we were blessed to go out and find foundations that believed in us and believed in this project that we're wanted to do at Suzuki. So, so with that, I'll start my presentation and give my acknowledgments. The Suzuki Tribal Council, without them, and giving us the blessings to go ahead with this project, was one of the first blessings that we got. And then the various foundations that contributed to the construction, with monies and, with helping in that area. And then the various hands that came through the Pueblo at times when we're doing the construction. There's too many numerous people out there to name, and a lot of the groups came from all over the United States and came out and helped us and put their hands and energy into this building. And then also I'd like to acknowledge the two architects that we worked with. First and foremost, the late Alfred von Bachmeyer. He was in the initial planning stages with the farm department when we decided we wanted to construct this building. So he was very pivotal in this building here. He recently passed away in 2015, but his work with us, it doesn't go away. We always acknowledge him when we were doing presentations on the seed bank. And then also Amy Lynn, she came in. She was working with Alfred at that time, and she came in and helped us along the way, and she did a lot for us too. So we're very thankful for these two individuals that came in and gave their time and effort. They also saw that it wasn't really about the money when they were helping us. They worked for very minimal pay, yet they brought all their energy and effort there every time they came. So we're thankful for them. Well, the history of the seed bank had been discussed at various times throughout when me and Emigdio would be, out at workshops, different workshops, and, talking with a lot of different farmers around the country. So we always talked about, establishing a seed bank within Suzuki. And we thought it was very important that a Native community should have something like this. We knew that agribusinesses were coming in and swooping in all the traditional seeds and heirloom seeds from traditional farmers across the United States, not just here in the United States, but also Canada and down south in Mexico and, the countries down that way. So we knew this was going on, and we wanted to do something about it, and we wanted to, do something in Indian country that would help, us and then also our surrounding communities, and just kind of be a model for different Indian communities that, if we could do this, that they could do this at their own place also. So it was discussed throughout this time, and then about maybe in 2009, that's when we got into the initial conversations with Alfred about doing this. So, it just dragged on. We kept on, trying to come up with, different designs for it. So we just, kept going on and talking about it. And so it finally came to, in 2011, when we got our new tribal council in Governor Mark Mitchell. We went before him and we pitched this idea that, we wanted to do this here at Suzuki. And so he went ahead and pitched it to his tribal council. And we were lucky enough that we had a couple of farmers that were on the tribal council that year. So, they were instrumental in pushing this project. And so in 2011, that's when we got the go-ahead to go ahead and start, construction on this. You see a couple of pictures here. We really wanted to make this building as green as possible, use recycled materials. And so one of the things was we had dug 12 feet down below. You can see this picture on your left corner here. There's some seeds there right in this picture. But down below, we wanted to dig and wanted to have a climate-controlled natural earth, cooling of the seeds. And this is the environment that we wanted to put them in. And so, down there, it's really dark, and, there's lights in there, but, when we turn them off, it's really dark, and it's nice and, mellow for the seeds. We wanted a peaceful place for them. At the base of this, we dug down 12 feet. We used tire bells. I don't know if anybody knows what tire bells are. You see them around here, at various junkyards or tire places, but these are really big tire bells that are bunched together, and they really weigh a lot. It's a funny story that when we went out to the Santa Fe landfill where they have these tire bells, we took a trailer that belonged to the tribe, and we were thinking that this was going to be able to bring 72 of these bells to the farm. Yet when we came and they put one of these things on that trailer almost broke its back. It just started cracking, and we're like, well, we got to find another way to haul all these 72 bells, So with the BIA, they helped us out. They let us borrow the rig, and they were the ones that brought all these tire bells to Suzuki. And then from there, we did the initial taking them off of with the backhoe. And so and one of our tribal members that worked at the farm at that time, his name is Randy Makino. He was the one that was doing this process of digging the hole down 12 feet down below, him and his son. And then Alfred was there also to, guide them as they went. So at the base of the seed bank, there's 72 of these tire bells that are the foundation of this building. They're packed with, mud, sand, rock, and straw in between the tire bells there. And then we just came along with the traditional plaster and plastered the walls of these tire bells there. And, with that too, there was a lot of hands that came through and helped us with that. It was kind of a struggle too also when we did this hole, because, when we started doing it, it was like summertime. And then, of course, went into the fall, and then we went into the winter. So we had a lot of struggles of, rain getting in there, the snow getting in there. So it survived that year, the initial start of the seed bank. Then we went into the early part of 2012, and then again, we had another tribal council come in, brand new council. And so they were kind of evaluating all the departments, and so when they looked into the farms, they saw that we were trying to do this. There was a little resistance at that time because, they didn't know the whole scope of work that we were trying to do, or they didn't understand what we were trying to do, or what our goal was, and what our goal was for our pueblo with saving these seeds and, having a place for the seeds. So we had to educate these guys and kind of let them know. Yet then there was also a building inspector at the time in the pueblo that was, throwing at us that this doesn't meet OSHA regulations and, blah, blah, blah. So we were like, we're a sovereign nation. We want to build this building. We want to build it with our own hands. We want to build it with our own people. And so that was the goal right there was, to build this building with our own people. And, we kept on pushing them. But this gentleman was really, persistent in trying to shut this down. But through tribal council meetings and, they finally, gave us the go-ahead in early spring of 2012 to keep going on with this. So, there was a little delay in that, and it kind of brought us down a little bit, because we're trying to do a good thing, for the people and for the surrounding communities, yet, they're trying to tell us, it ain't going to be a good thing. So, it was kind of hard for us to understand that. But we believed that it was going to happen. And so, they finally did give us the go-ahead. And, we had a couple of allies in there, too, that were there that understood what we were trying to do also. So, and so we kind of went back and talked with the council, went before them and pitched some ideas to them that, we wanted this to be built with people from home. And so what they did was they granted us some young individuals that were having trouble, with the law, or they were having substance abuse problems. And so they granted us these 12 individuals to come and work in the fields and then work on this seed bank project with us. To this time, there is a couple of these gentlemen that have recuperated their lives. They've went on to college, or they went on to some trade schools, or they're just working people now. They're, part of the, society now. They're not just, wasting their lives doing no good, So, I think that was something that was also a blessing right there was, these individuals getting the training, they got to do, building maintenance, and they got to do field work. I mean, the field work is hard, they would say that. We would split these gentlemen up in groups of 6. This time you're going over here to the seed bank to work. This time you're going to the fields. Most of them wanted to go to the seed bank and work because the field work was a little hard for them, hands-on and getting your hands in the dirt. So, but yeah, the council granted us that, and so these young individuals got to come out and put their hands and energy into this building also, and also into our fields. As we went on in 2012 and then 2013, it was a slow process. We got the majority of it done in 2013. So as we went along, we kept adding and adding here and there to the building there. So it was finally completed in 2013, and so it saw its first harvest in 2015, or was it? No, it was 2014 when it saw its first harvest brought in. Another reason too was we never had a building to call our own. The farm program didn't have a building to call it its own. And so we're able to, it's close enough to our fields that we can bring our harvest there and work in the back of the seed bank, or just work right there on the side where you see the greenhouse. We'll throw, our herbs or whatever to dry in the side greenhouse there that you see. So yeah, we finally got our place, up and running, and so it's already seen a couple of harvests, and where we get to go over there and bring in the harvest, thresh our corn, thresh our whatever else we have, and we're able to just take it right down to the bottom of that seed bank. And so right now there is some seeds in the bottom, but we do have another temporary seed bank that we had. It was an old freezer container that we found, and we utilized that for the majority of those years when we didn't have a seed bank. So whatever came off the field was brought to that old freezer over there. So it's, we still got to go through there and go through those seeds, clean them, and then maybe do some germination test on them, and then just kind of label them, and then, we'll eventually get them down there. That's the goal, is this winter, is to do that. So as you can see in the middle picture, we wanted to, like I said, we wanted to do it as green as possible. So some of the materials, like I had mentioned earlier, was the tire bales, and then we have adobe, and then we also have straw bales. Facing the east side, we have adobe, and even those adobes were made on site with the young guys that were there. So it gave them, like some work that our ancestors had did in the past. We got them in there using the hoe, and even also just getting them using their feet, making the mud and threshing that mud, and then making the bricks. On the north side, west side, and the south side, we have straw bale. And so we wanted to use concrete as minimal as possible. But there is a little bit around the base of the tire bales, so that's what's holding up the walls there. And so the wood was all from a sawmill in Colorado. It was bark beetle infested wood, so we used that wood as recycled materials. And then, like I said, we just used the natural clay mud from home, the arroyo sand, and then just straw bales. And we did all the mixing there, and like I said, we did all the plastering, we did all the trusses, built all the trusses, did all the roofing. And you can see that we have it's run by solar power. We're connected to the grind with P&M yet, but we have this solar power there that's, powering it. So we're still generating energy for, P&M. So we do get like a little check every month from P&M, maybe about like $20 or so. Last time I checked, it was like about $20. So we've added to the seed bank. Okay, well, my time is running out here, but I just would like to invite anybody that would like to come out and tour the seed bank or come see it. You're more than welcome. We're from Suzuki Pueblo, and we're just down the road, 9 miles from here. You can talk to me after this presentation, and if you want to come see it, it's a beautiful building, and you'll get very inspired by it. Just like I said, brings a lot of good energy to not just the people that come see it, but to ourselves. It gives us a purpose to keep going and preserving our traditional and other various heirloom seeds. Thank you. And